Let's dive in. So I wanted to come at you guys today with a topic that's kind of been heavy on my heart and something that I've been really contemplating in my own life. Ironically, I made an Instagram post on a funny reel, and if you're not familiar with my content, I love to make funny, spiritual, lifestyle stuff. Somebody had put a comment that was about their spiritual journey and how it really ruined their life. Sometimes I relate it to spiritual bypassing. Whenever you dive into spirituality, trying to bypass the problems in your own life. But we can often lose ourselves. The more you consume or the more that you learn and the more that you analyze in your own life and the more that you quote unquote heal yourself or just come back to yourself, it is almost like a death and a rebirth process of losing yourself. And it can become very addicting, I want to say, almost like the healing trap. And if you're not familiar with the healing trap, that's whenever you constantly feel like you need to heal yourself. And it's like in spirituality, it's the constant need to feel like you need to evolve as a human. And when you do this, it's almost like the more you quote unquote ascend, not really trying to ascend anywhere, you're just trying to let go of what doesn't serve you. And that brings you back to source, essentially. Or the more that you let go of the idea of yourself, essentially your ego or your human self in your life, the more you figure out that you're all that just exists and is. And in this process, it's like you lose the human side of you. You lose being human, and then you stop relating to a lot of people, relating to your friends and to family, like those closest to you. And that's not all a bad thing, guys. Like, it is a process to understand thyself and to make the changes of where you see fit in your life. But when it becomes your life and it becomes obsessive and you're on this constant need for wisdom and knowledge and it just becomes your entire life, I'm not quite sure that's extremely healthy. But at the same time, where I want to get at in this concept is when people can view that as negative, you can either lose yourself in it and it can become your life for the rest of your life, and you'll no longer relate to a lot of close people that you had in your life because of the difference in vibration. Because the more that you consume this wisdom and this knowledge, and the more that you become all these things, right? Because what we consume, we become. You raise your vibration. And essentially that is the goal in spirituality. I say in spirituality, but that is what has been, I say, communicated, is to always raise your vibe, always raise your vibration. If you want to be spiritual, raise your vibration. The higher you go, the more you're going to come back to your nature and your being, right? But there comes a point of, yeah, like you raise your vibration very high, but those who are not of the similar vibration fall away. And that's not always a bad thing, but you can lose people close to you. And that's where people say it's a lonely journey. And then you can no longer relate. And then you lose yourself with the information always constantly consuming. You no longer participate in human activities, really. And I say human activities, so you'll find yourself navigating away from, like, common things like holidays, sports events, those are the type of human activities, the things that we celebrate essentially, or the things that make us more human and materialistic. So you're drawn away from the material world and more into the internal world and the world of energy, honestly, the upper realms, the dimensions, the interdimensional beings. Like, you're not really having a human existence at this point. You're in the clouds, I want to say, but not really. You're tied to the body, but you're not really having the human experience or attached to anything in the material world. Like I said, not a bad thing all the time, but in my opinion and my experience in it, because it can get scary at times of how much you can't relate to being human. And there's aspects of being human that is beautiful and that you need to experience. And You know, they call this the human experience for a reason. And it's the whole point that you are here. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like it's healthy as well either to identify so hard with the human experience. I feel like this whole experience is supposed to be a balancing act between heaven and earth. And when you swing the pendulum one way too far or the other way too far, you can view it as a negative experience or something that is not serving you anymore. Because I honestly feel like going through our journey, guys, we will be going in between the light and the dark so many times, but the key is to find the balance in it. And sometimes we have to swing the pendulum all the way to the spiritual and be in our spiritual girly era. And then sometimes we need to be so human and in our ego and have everything basically broken so then we can return to the love, right? The key is to find the balance between the two and to understand yourself enough to bring yourself back to center to have said human experience. You're trying to experience your greatness of what you already know that you are in the energetic realms as a energetic being, right? A limitless creator that now has some limitation so that it can honestly play and learn more about itself, right? That's the whole point of the physical world. And this body, this human, is the physical manifestation or of the energy that is you. You're just having a human experience being streamed into this meat suit that has a biological makeup that helps you have said human experience. And then you as the creator, being God, essentially, has the potential to create in the material world where things are slowed down a little bit and it takes time to create form, right? That is the point of being here and experiencing love in this form, however which way you want to channel it here. So this is where I feel people don't necessarily understand that being spiritual is not about trying to ascend or gain the most knowledge or just obsessing about the mysticism or, things like that. That's a cool aspect of it. Don't get me wrong. It is addictive, and it's addictive because of how high vibrational it is. And your soul's nature is to follow life, right? High vibration equals high energy equals life, love, right? And the more that you learn or are exposed to that, the more you're going to want that. But at the same time, maybe that also means too that you're not finding that love in other aspects of your life. And maybe you need to explore more human aspects to see how you can take the higher realms of love and that energy, right? And ground it down, right? You are supposed to be the bridge between heaven and earth to ground that here, right? You have to be connected to the human experience. That means to the body. So there has to be a little bit of a balance. And who knows how long your body will actually be able to take you not actually being in it, right? Your soul needs to be in the body and grounded for energy to actually connect between the heaven and the earth. The lower chakras have to be clear as well too. The human body is designed for balance. So this is where you'll find that disconnect with the lower chakras and feel like not a human. Ultimately, it's understanding this information, but this is just like anything else in life, guys. It's neither right nor wrong, it just is. It's up to the creator on what you want to experience. Do you want to have more of a human experience and find that balance between heaven and earth and make the most out of your life to create? Or would you rather dive into the heavens and mysticism and just consume knowledge and learning? Who knows if you actually ever get to apply it in a human life to actually ground down the knowledge that you learn to explore more about yourself, because you're not having a human experience and you need the experience to actually fully integrate it and learn something from it, right? That is the point of the physical. is the action taken and what it creates. And then when you embody the knowledge that you're learning, then you become the master, right? Then you actually learn something. This is very similar to the saying of knowledge is nothing without applying it, right? It's wasted. But at the same time, I can relate to it too. If all you consume is just books and just, classes or whatever like that, and you do nothing with it, you're still getting high vibe energy from it and learning. But typically what ends up happening is if you don't apply it, or if you don't keep consuming the same knowledge, you'll lose it. You lose that stream of consciousness. So it's like you have to become the knowledge itself and ground it down. For those of you who are so into the mysticism and the knowledge and those aspects of a spiritual journey, like you want to do those things. You want to ground that down, right? You want to be the master of it. More importantly in this aspect of it, guys, circling back around to the comment of if you view spirituality, or if you think that it ruined your life, or you think that it is the root of all evil and it's a trap and things like that will be your reality. It's created fear in some people, as far as you see spiritual people now going to Christianity or, some form of religion because of spirituality. There is no path but the one that you create. And sometimes that can lead people into places that then they either tell themselves is wrong because they've been fed an idea that it's wrong, or that they see their life around them falling apart and they think that, oh my gosh, like this is evil, like I've fallen into a trap, rather than seeing it as things happening for them, or they become lost in themselves or with no direction at all. That can be scary. It's very difficult to take responsibility for your life. It's very difficult to create your own path. And especially with all the rules of society or ideas out there of what people try to tell you what is right and what is wrong, and you're trying to figure that out for yourself, we hold a lot of shame and guilt on things that our soul actually wants to create and do, or who it is that we want to become. And we find it hard to actually be that person because of the ideas that we've been fed on what is right and what is wrong. And then therefore it's self-betrayal. If you never step into who it is that you want to be or what you want to do in your life, that is self-betrayal. No matter if society is telling you something is wrong, or your parents telling you that you need to do this. When I first started my spiritual journey, it is like an obsession. It is like something very new and exciting, and it's high vibrational. So naturally your soul wants to follow that breadcrumb, that trail, that consume that content, that energy, and practice the meditations, the energy work, or whatever floats your boat, tarot. You can have it consume your life. I did for a while. It's not to say that it's not still heavily a part of my life. I have integrated it into who I am. So therefore, it's not really viewed as something separate than me or something negative. Just sometimes it is very difficult to relate to other people or to find joy in some of the activities that I used to find joy in when I wasn't quote unquote awake or spiritual. It's like you grow out of that phase in your life, or you become somebody new and those interests no longer serve you or are of interest to you. And so you move towards higher vibrational things. What comes with that is higher vibrational people, new learning, new communities. That's all great. That is amazing. And I think where people find the negative side of that is their old life has to die, essentially. And that's scary. For me, that was extremely scary. Very close people in my life, I could no longer relate to. I realized things that I was putting up with, and I say putting up with, but things that were toxic for me that I beforehand didn't realize were toxic for me. So as I was understanding more wisdom and understanding more about myself, I was being called to make changes in my life that, even though were painful or are painful because I still am making those changes, you understand that it's better for you. You understand that you're doing it out of self-love, for the self, right? You're giving yourself what you need because you understand more about yourself, and those other lower vibrational things that you had in your life. And you can even think of this as like addictions, or, changing your diet, or adopting a healthier lifestyle, getting a new job, moving towns, things that are very foundational shattering. It can be very scary. And that's where people are like, oh my God, I almost threw away my entire life. I cannot believe that spirituality almost made me do that. What? And then they return back to their safe zone, right? They go back to the safety zone. And then therefore they just kind of return to their normal programming. But their mindset is back where it was, maybe a little bit changed from the experience that you had in the spiritual realms. You've chosen to have an experience of being a spiritual being, and then choosing to then revert back to whatever it is you want to experience now. Maybe more of a human lifestyle. Maybe that's going back to religion. Whatever so may be, it's not wrong. The soul knows what it needs in the moment to sustain life, and what is best for the human experience to be a channel for love. Maybe that was being spiritual for a little bit and then going back to religion. Maybe you needed a perception shift to understand the fullness of what you had before. Because I am one of those people that believes that the experiences that you have, you never truly forget them. Your body remembers them, so therefore your subconscious remembers them, and it will change your life and your programming, your pattern, which way you want to think about it, for the rest of your life. So yes, back to my journey. I know for me, I spent a lot of time in the beginning in the spiritual realms, and that's all that truly mattered. I obsessed over it a lot. Every single day I woke up and was like, I'm a spiritual being. It's like every day you don't forget it. After a while, it starts to become like, do I miss my old life? Like, why am I doing this? When it does seem lonely, and like I said before, your old life starts to crumble, when in reality, it's just you leveling up, right? And like I said before, life is what you make of it. Your spiritual journey is what you make of it. What you tell yourself is happening is truly what you'll believe, right? Regardless of the reality of the situation or not. If you believe your spirituality has made your old life crumble and that's bad, then that will be how you view it, right? That will be your experience. That is your God-given gift of being the creator, creating your reality with your thoughts. After I've had some of those thoughts, I really had to sit and analyze like why I felt the need to dive so deep into the spiritual realms and make that a passion. I don't know what you want to call it. Why I needed to make that a part of my life, and where I felt called of where I was neglecting certain aspects of my life, right? So it's like I said before, you have to find that balance of integrating the knowledge and everything that you learned in the spiritual realms or on your spiritual high priestess era, and then integrating that into the human existence, so then you can live more of a happy, healthy, balanced human life, because honestly, that's where the truth in learning comes, is in that phase of being the complete bridge and integrating what you know. When you do this, then you can actually hold space for others efficiently. You can then actually see love in the situation, or you're able to bring yourself back to center to see love. Your relationships will improve rather than fall away, or you'll see the right ones come in, right? You won't see it as something negative going on in your life. You'll understand that there's something always greater happening for you. And this all happens when you properly integrate the knowledge and the high spiritual vibration that you experienced in that phase of your life, in your spiritual era. I hope this video helps you out, and to help you guys maybe view your own spiritual journey in a new light, rather than something that is controlling your life or happening to you. Understand that you're making the choice, whatever so desire you have to experience in your journey, because honestly, guys, your life is the journey. Your entire life is the spiritual journey. So it's just how you choose to experience it, right? So, sending you all of my light and all my love. Sat Nam.